Hello and welcome to the channel. I am excited about this trip because we're about to go and see some chickens. These are egg-laying birds, and essentially where we get a lot of our substrate from now as another source is the waste from here. So the chicken manure drops down, they're fed maize and their feed and whatever. Some of that gets chucked down as well because chickens are messy eaters. And then that waste on the floor is very rich rich in nutrients essentially. Hi goat. And we're using that to feed our BSF, and they're doing remarkably well. So there's quite a large establishment. Oh, I can see it now. So these are the chicken wastes that we would collect. So everything wrapped up. There's another one here. So this substrate that we're using comes directly from under here. See, this one's been cleaned out. Let's get this one up here. I think this one looks like it's full. I can see, look, the wheelbarrow's full. You can see all this chicken waste. Just droppings, there's some feed in there, some maize. I've just been splashed by some maize. All of that is what we're using in our maggots. Very good. This is the chicken farm that I'm visiting right now. So as I said, it's quite exciting to see where our waste is coming from. And there's Anita I'm just chatting to, but there's a lot of birds in here. These are egg layers. It's quite a clever system. Maybe not so great for the chickens, although they don't look too distressed, which is always nice to see. But essentially what you do is you just put them in these big rows. You have your water comes in from outside, gets fed through here, and they can take water as they need, and then you feed them with maize or the proper concentrate feed behind there, and then the eggs roll out at the bottom. So I'll show you that. You can see here. There we go. So quite a nice, and there's trays and trays of eggs everywhere. But we're not into chicken farming. Although these chickens would love the black soldier fly, that's for sure. Although it wouldn't be a good idea to sell them because you don't want to, if we're using chicken waste to then pass on to the maggots to then come back to the chickens, if there's any parasites, then you're going to potentially pass that on. But so this is all the waste, which is full of nutrients and would otherwise just slowly turn into compost. But we're actually using it to feed our BSF. And then those BSF we can feed to fish, and then we get fish and a really good fertilizer in a very quick period of time. So we're sort of, it's called the circular economy. You're basically utilising your waste streams. So any waste is sort of used as much as possible, and that's what we're trying to do in our system. So this is only one of the enclosures that they have. So I've just come outside, it's quite noisy in there. I think they're building another enclosure here, and there's one down there which they're making the cages, and they're going to probably turn that into a chicken enclosure. But I think they said they had about 10,000 birds, or getting close to that, and they're looking to expand to 15 in the coming time. So yeah, this is quite good. It's good to see they got sprayed on the way in, which is really good for zoonotic diseases and just disease spread in general. You want to sort of keep everything sterile. So they sprayed our boots to make sure you're not bringing anything into the farm. Yeah, it's an interesting place. Let me show you some other things that are going on. So look at this. So Pauson's quite nervous because it's a pretty steep drop. I'm standing here, and this is a wobbly thing I'm holding on to. But I remember that I came here in 2017 and he had some ponds. You can see a couple there. There's a couple there. And these tanks, I'm told, are for RAS, or recirculating aquaculture systems for tilapia. Now, I'm not convinced particularly of RAS as a system, especially for tilapia. I think it's trying to get the concentrations right, as in like the number of fish you can get in a metre squared isn't always that easy. And I think you need to aerate, so there's a high capital cost. Got to run power and stuff like that. But I know it can work in some contexts. So Andrew, the owner, is trying that out. So So it's good to see his innovation. And then he's got these ponds here, which I don't think he's got fish in at the moment. And then he's got some bigger ponds here where he wants to put his brood stock. So he's clearly very entrepreneurial and trying lots of things. And I can quite believe it when I saw these tanks, because we are very far away from Kampala, where you get there are people who've got RAS systems. I know of a few companies that have tried them in the East Africa region, but they tend to typically be not in the middle of nowhere like here. So it's quite interesting to see that. And then the other thing here is an ice truck. So this machine, or truck, it's a refrigeration machine, and it's designed, I think, to transport. Well, it is designed to transport perishable goods. But again, it's about volumes, right? Like, he's got like so many eggs coming out, so he's very much thinking large scale. And with the number of tanks, he's very much thinking large scale. And with this, he's thinking large scale. So we are, as a business, like, we would struggle to ever come close to filling this. It would take us a while. So that's why we've never sort of gone down that route. But of course, for him, that's something he's interested in doing, sort of that scaling, sort of large scale. But this is more my scene: ponds and management systems and smallholder farmers and that sort of thing. The larger commercial work that you see is not really what I'm into quite as much, although I have done some work on it, but typically I tend to focus on smallholders. Well, there's Pauson. I think we're going to go down and have a look at the rest of his operation. Come down to the RAS, and you can see here how it works. You've got a pond, so it's a metal tank, then you've got a concrete liner, you've got a pond liner, and then there's a bottom which collects all the waste and things like that, and with the water, it's below the rest of it, so the water will flow down, and then that will come underneath, come into here, and then there should be, if they've done this correctly, pumps. Oh, it's down here. So this is outflow, so if they need to drain it, they'll put it that way. But typically with RAS, what they'll do is they'll recirculate the water. So I would expect to see a pump at the bottom which pumps the water back up into the tanks, and then you need to filter your water. So it may not be a true RAS that they're building here, or maybe they're doing it in here. There's no one around to ask about it, so this potentially, because this is lower, so I wonder if they're going to use this as the way of this level here is lower than the tanks, so they may well collect the water there, filter it as they need to, and then pump it back. Might be wrong, but that's what I would imagine from a RAS. And then you have aerators. So the challenge with these systems is the fish need a lot of oxygen to breathe, and in a pond we're normally doing 4 per meter squared, 4 fish per meter squared. Now these tanks are probably, I don't know, like, what are they in terms of meters squared? Like maybe 100 meters squared, could be, maybe less. Because I'm guessing they're about 10,000 litres, and I think if I do my maths right, that's 100. So then that's only 400 fish in a tank, which, you think of a pond, we can get 4,000 in there, no problem in a smallish pond. So I think that's anyway. So then they should filter the water. You have oxygen diffusers, they're called. So these basically pumps oxygen through. So then you can increase the stocking density, how many fish you have, from more than 4 to up to quite higher up. I was very surprised to hear that we don't know exactly. This is a bigger tank, but to do tilapia in here, because I think that's maybe the plan. But catfish can support higher volumes; they don't need as much oxygen to breathe. But if you do tilapia in here, then you do need to and you just purify your water, because you're getting all the ammonia, the nitrates, and the nitrites in there. You need to filter it out. So yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't say too much about this system because I don't know enough. I haven't asked anyone about it. I'm telling you what I know a bit about RAS. But it's very interesting. I'm flabbergasted, I think, to see this here. This one they haven't done this one yet. I'm flabbergasted to see this because we're out in the middle of nowhere. It is getting dark, and I should go. So let me just go and look at that structure over there, and then we'll wrap this up. I've just come down to the tank, the other side. You can see the RAS system over there. Sorry, I shouldn't say RAS system because it is just RAS. You see the RAS over there, and then this is the expansion of the chickens. So yeah, it's an interesting place. I guess from me, it's thanks for watching. Appreciate your support so far. Do please subscribe. We are just delighted that we can, there's so much waste here, chicken waste, that we've got more than enough for our needs, and we can expand quite a bit if we wanted to with the maggots. So that's really good, and I just love it. You're using waste, turning it into something that's very useful in the form of fish protein. So yeah, appreciate your support and watching. Do subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.